It is not a secret to anybody that one of my favorite tools for research for my videos is X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm going to leave you my X account link in the description, by the way. And since it's my main source of research, then I can be browsing literally hundreds, if not thousands, of posts a day. I'm browsing X at all times, in the morning, in the afternoon, sometimes even at night. I have to make sure that my sleep schedule is, actually clean. So I'm trying to get rid of that. But I'm browsing X all day. And at some point, when you're browsing X, looking for, what are the trends, what are the news of the day, you begin to notice patterns, especially when it comes to videos and images of people. When you see that there's a video of a politician or a celebrity that just pops up and you say, okay, this could be a good topic to analyze. Or there comes a mugshot of a criminal or a serial killer or any kind of event that involves humans. Well, you know that the body language guy is going to be there. But today, something happened when I was browsing X. I stumbled upon one picture that I'm not going to say that I had like bad juju upon seeing it, but it so happens that it made me stop for a minute because the picture was surrounded by walls of text, and you know that walls of text are boring. And the picture that I saw was this woman here. And I'm not gonna tell you who is this woman up until at least 20 or 30 seconds until you soak up who she is, or what do you think that she is, or what do you think that she does, or why are we talking about her? Or what is your bias about this? That's one thing. I purposefully chose this screenshot, so it was not a neutral expression. I wanted this expression, but I wanted you to look at her, and maybe you can pause the video now and tell me in the comments, before looking at the comments themselves, because I'm sure that it will be spoiled. What do you think is going on here? Who is this woman? And what do you feel about her? That would be a nice experiment. And now that I'm sure that you already hit pause and left your comment, it's time to find out who is she and what she does, and maybe why there's something maybe unsettling about her. All right. Turns out that she is Karen Selva, the medical director of the Randall Children's Hospital's transgender clinic in Oregon, who promotes harmful puberty blockers for children and claims that they're reversible. Which is false, by the way, despite admitting there aren't any studies on long-term effects. And I'm not making this up. This is herself on a very instructive video, so you can watch it for yourself, and her facial expressions and how she gleefully thinks and affirms that these drugs are the best choice for transgender youth, if such a thing exists.
Hello. My name is Karen Selva. I use she and her pronouns.
Pronouns, of course.
I'm a pediatric endocrinologist and the medical director of the Randall Children's Hospital T-Clinic. This clinic provides multidisciplinary care to transgender or gender-expansive youth and their families.
Again, no such thing as transgender or gender-expansive youth exists. We are talking about crazy parents, soccer moms that are, have been way too much into alcohol or something like that. They want to know the social clout, and they want to chop their son's dicks and their daughter's tits. It's that simple. That's what they want to do, to be part of the transparent club. Oh, that sounds nice. Transparent club. I should copyright that. But then, no such thing as a transgender or gender expansive youth exists. That is nonsense. And these people are just reaffirming something that is just a mental illness from the parents, like transmitted from the parents into children, and thanks, of course, to teachers and doctors, quote unquote, like this. That's the only thing. And you see that she is really convinced of what she is speaking, because she talked with a total confidence and really with a reassurance of what she is saying. But let's continue.
And their families. Today, I would like to discuss the use of pubertal suppression or puberty blockers in transgender and gender-expansive youth. Puberty blockers work at the level of the pituitary gland, and they actually suppress the release of the LH and the FSH so that the sex organs are no longer stimulated.
Stimulated in the sense that they no longer grow. So the breasts don't grow, the testes don't grow. So basically, boys and girls do not develop.
The ovary doesn't produce estrogen anymore, and the testicle doesn't produce testosterone. Thus, the signs that we see from these hormones are blocked and don't progress in puberty. What are the benefits of using puberty blockers? Well, the main benefit is that they prevent the unwanted and permanent effects of puberty.
Unwanted permanent effects of puberty. Since when the puberty effects are unwanted? Oh yeah, for crazy people, that is.
And thus, future surgeries can be avoided as an adult. We can prevent the need for any chest reconstruction in affirmed trans males.
We can prevent need for chest reconstruction in affirmed trans males. I'm having trouble following this grammar.
Or facial feminization surgery in trans females.
Facial feminization surgery in trans females. What the actual?
They are also reversible.
False.
And thus, if the patient decides to stop using pubertal blockers, their endogenous puberty will resume as previous.
False. That's a lie.
Using pubertal blockers can alleviate the depression or worsening gender dysphoria
that has been, passed from the parents into the children.
that is often associated with progressing pubertal changes.
No, crazy families. That is often a side effect of crazy families.
And lastly, the use of puberty suppression is recommended by the Pediatric Endocrine Society.
And it should be closed then. It should be shut
There
down.
are clinical guidelines for the treatment of transgender and gender diverse youth.
Which still don't exist.
What are the potential risks of puberty blockers? The practice of using puberty suppressors in transgender youth is new, since the first clinical guidelines were only published in 2009.
All right, let me see. So what? Let me do the math. First clinical guidelines were only published in 2009. Clinical guidelines. So this is how we are going to administer these puberty blockers. So, okay, we have like 16 years of use. I don't think that's enough. I have enough time to say, because you need at least 10 years to see what happens with a person's body. And I guess that since they were introduced at that time, thanks Obama, then I guess that, we need more time in all cases. Or maybe shut the whole effing thing off.
We're only
that's what we need to do.
Published in 2009. Thus, we don't have long-term studies with long-term outcomes and data yet.
So how do you know these are pros and these are safe if you don't have long-term data? She is saying that herself. You understand the level of dissonance? That's why I told you this is a complete sociopath. Complete sociopath. There's no other way to define this. This is I don't know, horrible. Also, the Randall Children's Hospital in Oregon provides instructions to kids on how to bind their chests and tuck their genitals as part of their gender-affirming care, in addition to injecting them with harmful puberty blockers. This hospital receives funding through your tax dollars. We should do something about it, I guess. But it gets even worse, and worse to the point that saying that these are safe, that these puberty blockers are safe and reversible, which is not a thing. But again, in the getting worse department, we have also this. Randall Children's Hospital in Oregon provides a suggested list of books to kids that says a boy can become a girl and you can be born in the wrong body. They even admit that the books may not be age appropriate for some kids, yet still suggest them to kids. Let me see this. We need to see it. Also, the illustrations are nightmare fuel. I apologize, but this has to be done. See, when you were born, you couldn't tell people who you were or how you felt. They look at you and made a guess. Maybe they got it right, maybe they got it wrong. Maybe if they are retarded, they can get it wrong. We should have a children's book who says that. Oh, the doctor and nurses are retarded, so they are getting your sex wrong. You have a pee-pee. We don't know what it says. Is it a boy or a girl? Yeah, I'm going to make that with AI. That's what AI is for. Making nonsense, putting nonsense out there. Although the doctor and the retarded doctor and nurses, that would be more common sense than this. Way more common sense. I don't understand. I don't understand how this became a thing, but then I remember how propaganda works. And if you know how propaganda works, then you know how can there be a mass brainwashing of people. And that's what happened, not only in the United States, but in many other countries, with this absolute insanity of trans youth or whatever, trans expansive or whatever they want to call it. But again, I would love to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Body Language Guy. Much love and bliss.